Hello, KLS family. This is Jonathan Mitchell here again, and today I'm sharing something a little bit different with you. It could be exciting for you. I know it's exciting for me. Talking about a medical treatment idea for KLS. Generally, I stay away from the part of the KLS Facebook group where everyone talks about different medications. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Because all that evidence is just really anecdotal, and I don't want to put my body through the rigors of trying every medication under the sun, even though there's no evidence that suggests anything actually treats KLS at all. I remember when I went to the Mayo Clinic, the neurologist that I saw printed off like a 30-page report, and I'll find it and I'll talk about that at some point here, but the short version is it's a report of all the research that's been done on KLS. So like instead of conducting research on their own, they compile all the research that has been done. And the primary conclusion is there's no known treatment for Kleine-Levin syndrome. I just kind of accepted that KLS is what's going on with me, and that's the way it is, and I have to live life the best way that I can. Now, if actual research studies come up where they could use me and I could be of use as like a patient to be tested on, then I would of course sign up because I want to help other KLSers. If there was actual evidence out there, I'd of course sign up because I want to help myself. I've just never been the type to go on and try everything under the sun. When I went to the KLS Foundation conference, international conference, in June of 2018, there was a report from a few doctors from France. Specifically, I believe it was the Sorbonne, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Sorbonne University in Paris, the Brain Research Institute there. And they've done a study, about as much of a study as you can do with KLS because it's so rare, it's hard to find patients to test upon. That was specifically focused for patients of KLS that have longer episodes like I do. So not only is like KLS super rare, but I have like the more abnormal version of it where my episodes last longer than a month. And that's about less than a third of KLSers have episodes like that. Most KLSers have episodes that last days or weeks. Mine usually last 2 to 4 months. So this was a study specifically geared at me. So I perked up. I was like, hey, cool, tell me about this. The long story, super short because I don't understand the medical stuff, I'll post links in the description below where I can to the actual study itself, is that by following the same process that someone would with MS to get steroid IV infusions, to put a KLSer who believes they are falling into an episode, like so the very early stages, like in the first 10 days of an episode, to put them through those rigors and to have them do the IV steroids, it is supposed to shorten the length of a KLSer's episode. And they had about a 50% success rate with that. I took this information, I looked it up independently on my own. I met with my own neurologist at the Minneapolis Clinic of Neurology. Cool, it's worth a try. I'll sign off on it. Next time you are going into an episode, let me know and we'll get everything set up. So that was June of 2018, and it's now January of 2020. And I had a super long 15-month episode that I was already in at that point, and then I was awake for the longest I've ever been since KLS started for me 10 years ago. All good news for the most part, other than I've been anxiously waiting to try this medication trial. I was falling into an episode about 3 weeks ago. I noticed I was falling into one, got in touch with my neurologist, got everything set up, got an appointment scheduled with a hospital to get these infusions, and that was that. I was ready to go, and then I found out that these infusions with insurance were going to cost about $800. So that's with my deductible, all the percentages off, everything. Apparently an incredibly expensive thing, and I did not recognize this when I first was excited about it. So now if this works and my episodes go from 2 to 4 months to 2 to 4 weeks, for example, awesome. I will pay $800 every time because that means I can start working a normal job and bringing an income in. If it doesn't, that's $800 that we're spending for literally nothing, and our family is not in the position to spend that kind of money. We don't really have a savings. We get by on Danielle's income and then the little that I bring in through Twitch and whatnot, but I haven't fully started my poker career yet, so I'm not really bringing anything in. So we're getting by, basically. We don't have $800 to throw out. So I thought on it for a little while, and I eventually decided that it was really worth finding out and trying, because it would genuinely change my life if this worked the way that it could for me. So I begrudgingly put together a GoFundMe, and it was funded within less than 24 hours. I was expecting it to be like, hey, here's like a couple $100, so it's cheaper for us. Awesome. Thank you, friends. Oh my God. But the whole thing was funded in less than 24 hours, which I haven't fully processed because there's just been so much going on with getting these steroids done. But yeah, I know I'm loved. So thank you. You know who you are. If you're watching this, thank you. You allowed me to really, for the first time, take a punch back at this disability that has taken over so much of my life. And I'm forever, ever, ever indebted to you. Thank you. That being said, we got it funded, which was miraculous and amazing, and holy shit, thank you everyone. Went to the hospital, and there's 3 days, so it was 3 days in a row of getting the steroids, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and it was going to be about an hour each time, plus like the setup time, waiting room, getting the actual IV in, all that kind of stuff. All in all, we were there for about 2 hours each day. Yeah, so that is what happened. That's what this is all about. It's not supposed to have any effect on the episode itself other than shortening it, so we're not going to know if it works for like another month or two. Like when this episode that I'm currently in ends, that's when we know. So it's just kind of a waiting game, and I'm looking forward to finding out. We video recorded the whole process. We did a little something each day. So we'll show that to you now, and then we'll wrap up with how I'm doing now, what side effects were, what effects I had going on, because it's been a week after I've done it. So enjoy. So it is Wednesday, January 22nd. Today is potentially a really important day. Well, I guess it's an important day regardless, but it could potentially be like a really, really, really important day. So I am slipping into another KLS episode, which sucks, but it is an inevitability. So it's not tragic news, because that's just how life works. But it's the first time that I felt I'm slipping into an episode since Danielle and I went to the KLS conference in June of 2018. And when we were there was a study that was talked about by some French doctors about how, specifically for people with longer episodes like me, because it's less than like a third of KLSers have like the super long episodes like I do. When you think you are falling into an episode within the first 10 days, if you get a round of IV steroids, they found that there's about a 50% success rate of substantially reducing the length of the KLSers episode. So now, I'm not the kind of person that's going to try everything on the planet. If it is like for research, I will try it because I want to help other KLSers. If there's evidence that something works, I will give it a shot. But I've never been like, oh, I gotta try everything under the moon, because there's just no evidence in the world that anything helps KLS, and I don't want to be stuck going like round and round of optimism and getting let down by the thing not working and all that kind of stuff. I think an important part of KLS is accepting that you have it, and then instead of still thinking of life as what you want life to be, thinking about like, cool, this is my life with KLS. And if you're constantly trying to find ways to fix it, even though there is none, you're setting yourself up for a pretty shitty existence. But this time, we're gonna give this one a shot. So it's a very big day. It's day 1 of 3, so we're going in early today for like a blood draw lab, I guess, to make sure I'm Gucci. Oh God, I'm not gonna edit this, but pretend I didn't say that. And then it's day 1, 2, and 3, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, of getting the steroids pumping through me. So we won't know for a couple months if it did anything, if there's any positive results or whatever, but I'm anxious to try it, because if it like significantly helps, then I might be able to have some semblance of a normal life and get to work, and then we can afford this treatment out of pocket, because I'll be bringing in a second income and all that kind of stuff, because instead of being out for 2 to 4 months at a time, it could be 2 to 4 weeks at a time, which is a lot more manageable with any employer. And if it doesn't work, like, that's okay too. At least we know we gave it a shot. My neurologist, I know, is excited to find out how it goes. So yeah, we're gonna follow along with this. I'll do like a video too later on where I give all the info about the research study and all that kind of stuff for anyone interested. But yeah, we'll just take a few videos over the next few days and we'll follow along. Thanks.
So what I'll do now is I'm just gonna flush your IV with some normal saline, then I'll take it out and I'll wrap it with the we call it Coban. It's kind of some stretchy tape, but it doesn't stick to your skin.
Okay.
And then just leave that on for half an hour, and then by the time you get home, you can take it off.
Okay.
It just stops the bleeding.
So it is later in the afternoon now. It's been like 5-6 hours since I got done with the steroid stuff. That was Watson. I am absolutely exhausted. I really want to sleep. I tried to sleep as soon as we got home, and my mind just kept racing. And now I'm kind of like laying on the couch, and I just have like this wild headache. And it's reminding me a lot of when I took Adderall for a bit, or any stimulant really, when it wears off and like I crash, and like right before it crashes. So like my body is just tired and wants to sleep because I'm in KLS episode land, so that's what I do. But my head just won't turn off, and I'm thinking about like endless loops of things. Like I'll think of this, and then I'll let you think of that, and then I'll think of this, and then that, and then I just can't like shut it off, and it's like an awful feeling. So I just want to share that in case anyone out there's thinking of doing this and has the same issues with stimulants that I do. That definitely appears to be a side effect. The next 2 days are probably going to suck because of it, but 3 days of sucky versus a potential for cutting a lot of time off of this episode is definitely worth it. So Just wanted to give that a little update. And we'll see how tomorrow goes. So it's day 2. It's Thursday. Yesterday sucked. I still had a headache this morning. I was finally able to get some sleep, but it feels just like when I'm dealing with Adderall, where my body wants to sleep and I want to sleep, but my brain isn't shutting off. So that sucks. But here we are, making a little more prepared this time. They suggested to have some kind of like hard candy to suck on, so I got little mints. Because it tastes awful, like even though it goes in here, it gives you a weird taste in your mouth. So I'm going to be sucking on some hard candy today, and that'll hopefully make things go a little bit easier. Made sure it was cool to take ibuprofen for my killer headache, so feeling more prepared. Today should go a little bit more smoothly. And I asked too about like the headache stuff, and like, they were immediately asking me like, "So, did you have sleeping issues?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, "Yeah, that's a side effect." I'm like, "Cool." They said it usually lasts like 24 hours, so theoretically, come Sunday, because my last infusion's Friday, come Saturday night into Sunday, I should be all right. But small price to pay if this actually works. Day 3, final day. I got like 6 hours of sleep last night. I am hoping that the side effects wear off by tomorrow night, so I can just basically sleep all day Sunday. Ibuprofen helps with the headache, so that's a bonus. Candy sucker things have been a blessing. Yeah, I'm glad it's last day, and then after this, it's just wait a month or two and see if things are different. So it's kind of weird going through all this and then not knowing if it'll have any effect, but it is what it is.
You're almost done with your 3rd infusion. Is there any...
Close.
I don't think you can see because the tag's in the way. Is there anything different from one day to the other? I know you got a weird taste in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been the same, consistent?
The suckers are fixing that, for sure. I noticed on the first day, like my lower legs were kicking a lot. I haven't really noticed that since, unless I've been doing it absent-mindedly and you've noticed.
Nope.
I just kind of noticed that it was giving me like a boost of energy, but I think at this point, like, I'm so tired that nothing can give me a boost of energy. It's just really keeping me awake. So maybe that first day is why I felt so like energetic, because I was coming off a normal long sleep to come in here, and then the last 2 times I've just been, I just want to go to bed, so I'm not feeling that energy boost. Can't really think of anything else. It'd be all different.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And we're back. So that last video was recorded on Friday the 24th of January. It's now Friday the 31st of January. So it's been a week since I've got my last infusion. The process sucked. I think I made that perfectly clear while I was being recorded, but I want to just drive home how much it sucked. The feeling, like the awful headache I got, and the feeling of being unable to sleep when I'm in a KLS episode is just like, there are bad things, but it feels like at the time like it's the worst thing that could ever possibly be happening to. So it was awful to effectively be kept up for 3 days to do it. But Saturday night, so about 36 hours after I got, a little more like 32 hours after I got my last infusion, I was able to sleep fully. I woke up Sunday, feeling as good as one can in a KLS episode. I slept that day away completely as well. And since I've kind of regained my normal KLS sleeping pattern of sleeping 16, 18 hours a day and having a couple lucid hours, usually after I wake up. Like I'm at my most lucid, like right now, this is about as lucid as I get in an episode. And it's usually about an hour or two after I wake up, after I've eaten something, when I get like my most energy. So I specifically wanted to record this video now for that reason. I was feeling good. So it didn't take super long to recover. I'm back in kind of my normal KLS pattern. Yeah, so it was a really shitty time, but it didn't last that long. At this point, really is just a waiting game to see when this episode ends, and then we'll know if it had any effect whatsoever. I want to state, in case it was not clear, that I am not a doctor. I am not recommending this treatment for anyone. Don't take anything I say here as medical advice. I don't know if I need to say this, but I want to cover my ass just in case. I'm just specifically wanting to share all of this information with you in case it interests you. And if it works, it's going to be a life-changing thing for me, so I for sure want it documented. That all being said, I also want to share the side effects that I think are worth mentioning, in addition to like the awful headache and wanting to blow my head off because I couldn't sleep. I had really shaky and busy feet the first day. I don't remember what it felt like, but Danielle tells me that I had, like, my feet were kicking a lot and I was complaining about it. I don't remember that, but that's what I have written down that Danielle said. I said my heartburn, like I already have acid reflux and asthma. My heartburn, acid reflux, whatever, was awful for about 4 days starting Wednesday. Like I was popping Tums. I was drinking as much milk as I could. It was really bad. I was in a lot of pain. That's part of the reason I couldn't sleep, is because I just couldn't get comfortable because I kept having all this acid buildup. So that was definitely an issue that I attribute to the steroids. And I don't snore. My lack of snoring is notable because that's like when I first started this diagnostic process of figuring out if I have KLS. You know, everyone asks if you snore because of sleep apnea stuff, but no, I don't snore. And I apparently snored a ton. Like Danielle was out in the living room when I was sleeping in the bedroom, and she was like looking around for the car that was booting up or whatever. So I apparently was snoring a ton during that. So those are the side effects that I personally experienced. Your results, of course, may vary. I will be putting all the information I have about this study from France in the description below, so you can get that. I know that to get like all of the full details, you would need some kind of medical sign-in. All you'll be able to find is like the abstract and stuff, but essentially your doctor and neurologist would be able to look into that for you if this is something that you think might benefit you. And as always, in the comments below, please ask any questions either related to this or KLS in general, and I'm going to answer everything that I can in a future vid. And now comes the part of the video where I ask you to subscribe to the channel. I mean, you don't have to, but when you make videos for YouTube, you're supposed to tell people to subscribe to your channel so they get notified of when you upload new stuff, so cool, go for it. And if you don't want to ask your question in a public forum, all my contact info is in the description below as well. Twitter, Discord, whatever works best for you. Go ahead and reach out to me, and when I'm awake, I'll reply. Until next time, do good, be well.